I think the developers of Bethesda are actually double A. But the publisher side of Bethesda was up there with EA or Final Fantasy, or sorry, Squaresoft or one of those, Sony or one of them. In terms of how big Bethesda was, in terms of their marketing and how well they did, but in terms of in-house studio, they have always been sort of scrubby and a bit silly and a bit dumb and a bit corporate. They've always been like that. And I wouldn't call them a triple anus development studio at all. They had triple A ideas, but double A execution. And they were given a lot of triple A money. But when you really look deeply at say, Bethesda, you're going to see stuff like those old that old Conelrad era music and all that, like the ink spots and all that. If you think about it, a lot of that stuff is free in the congressional studio, or sorry, the congressional, library. And it's just free. It's just free to public access because the people who made it are long dead. They've been dead for like 70 years or something. And so, and if you and a lot of the concepts in their games took them 5 or 6 games to reach, all of them being like the game of a generation, essentially. Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. Starfield wasn't it, but I think they still have Elder Scrolls 6 coming and all this. And I would say 76, and I love 76. And 76 to me is like the game of their generation. It's weird that it defines them because when you look at it, you see these double A graphics, double A AI, double A characters, double A voices, double A building, double A fucking hitboxes, double A fucking like almost everything, but all the core tenets of all their previous games, like a good perk chart, good storage chest that's kind of unlimited and sort of lets you just dump a bunch of stuff into it. Good stealing, good looting. The best looting I've ever done is in Bethesda games because there's loot everywhere, in every box and in every corner. There's like boxes filled with it, and you're just like, oh, what's in here? 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 And you look up at 6 hours of Oblivion have passed, and all you've done is gone through the trade district, and all you did was rob every vendor and steal every food and turn it all into fucking fatigue potions, and then sold the fatigue potions so that you could buy like a fucking mercantile potion. Then you buy the mercantile potion and run the mercantile potion, and then you sell all of the garbage that you bought from all the guys cheaper, and so you bought from them cheap, but you sell it to to more to the other vendor, and then you sell all of the weapons that you've gotten, and you go out to a dungeon and stuff, and you come back and you get another potion of haggling or whatever, and you're just like sucked away by the looting of like just a single town and a single dungeon, and 8 hours have gone by, and you're like just looting and looting and looting, and you're like, what the fuck, I've done so much looting that it's just like off the hook, and I could never use all this, and I don't know what to use it all for. Half of it's for classes I don't play, and there are classes that I'm not, and all this stuff. And so Bethesda, I would always say, like, what made them triple A-ness now was the fact that they published all their own games. But then but that's it. Not the storylines, not I'll say the music has always been triple anus. The music was the only consistent triple anus bit until Starfield. They finally fumbled the music on Starfield, I would say, but I mean, even then the soundtrack is still really good. But I mean, it's not like listen to 76 every day like 76 has been for me, like Enon Zur or Jeremy Soule or whatever with Skyrim. It wasn't like that. They fumbled the music with Starfield, and I bet they fumbled the music with Elder Scrolls 6. But I don't know. I don't know. These conductors are getting old. I don't think they can put the amount of work into the melodies that they used to. I think they're sitting at home worried about scratch tickets and NPR and their grandkids and their jobs and their place on the board and all this other stuff. And I don't really think they have the fucking vibe to do the music that they used to even like 5 or 10 years ago, like 76. And we'll see. I think Starfield was proof of it. Like that, it was a good sweep, but it wasn't amazing. It wasn't amazing like 76. It didn't suck me in like 76. It was a great sweep though. I will say that it is great sweet. I'm glad we have it. Starfield sweep was really good, but you know, just saying the music was the only thing that made them AAA, and it's that and the fact that they published their own titles the whole way and that they sold us so many copies of their titles across so many different fucking generations. Because it went from Xbox original to Xbox 360 to Xbox One to Xbox X, and now they're on like Fallout 4 remastered, Fallout 76 on Xbox X at 60 to 120 frames per second. On PC, you can get up to 185 or 260, I think, or 300 frames per second on Fallout 76 if you have a good enough rig. And so they brought 76 into the forefront, and they finally did with Fallout 4 too. But those are the only two titles that they made that are next gen. That's it. It's 76 and Fallout 4. So when you look at it as a publishing company, they are triple anus, right? They're triple anus. They're good like EA. They're good like Squaresoft. They released so many of their own titles. It did so well that we think of them as triple anus, but they are not. As a development company, they've never been triple anus. And one of the reasons that the modding community existed and got so big and was such a big deal, and it's always in the news all the time, and we're always talking about, oh, what about the mod community? Why did you shut off the mods? Why is SKSE dead? And all this other stuff. The mods were what enabled the players to fix Bethesda's double anus on their triple anus execution. Because they had this triple anus execution when it came to the world that they had built, the music that they had, and sometimes the graphics in terms of what the world looked like, not how good the graphics were. Like, for instance, Morrowind has a look to it, and if you don't know, you've never been there. Oblivion has a look to it. If you don't know, you've never been there. The Imperial City in Oblivion has a very special look to it. If you don't know, you've never been there. There's water with like hyacinth lilies in it and stuff like this. It's with a huge tower, kind of like the Washington Monument or something. It's a really amazing city, the Imperial City in Oblivion. And they're doing all these remakes, so we're probably going to see it again soon in the next like 5 years, I think. And so then, and every single game that they had looks like something, except for Starfield. Starfield did not look like anything. 76 looked like something. It was very pastel pastel mindset to 76. It's that color of autumn trees in the East Coast right around when there's like the autumn equinox. You'll see all these wonderful like autumn equinox colors that are like beautiful Fallout 76 colors of like almost like this, except a little bit more that this is the predominant color that you see in autumn equinox colors. You're gonna see all the things that you see like around Thanksgiving, like the cornucopia colors. See it? That's the colors. Thanksgiving colors. See it? They're autumn equinox colors. Those greens that the trees get, and the yellows and the pinks and the oranges of the sky, because it's the third quarter of the year. Yup, that's the pastage, the pastel stuff that 76 went for. There it is. That's the colors. That's what I was looking for. That's what I came looking for. Thank you for giving me what I wanted. That's one of the colors, yeah, but you don't know how to open a fucking image because you're just incompetent, I guess. But there it is. Those colors is what 76 was based off of. It has a look and a feel to it that they did not deliver in any of their other games except for Oblivion, I would say. Skyrim had a look to it, which was white and black and sort of sooty looking. And it did have a look to it. Skyrim had a look to it just the same, but it wasn't beautiful like this was, though. And 76 is a very fugly game. It didn't look good, like he's saying, but it has a very beautiful pastel color flow to it that you don't often see in games. PSO2 kind of had that. 76 had it. Rust has it. Like Rust is like Rust. I haven't logged in yet, so let's see if my server's up yet. It probably is now. No, my server's down right now for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, my server's down right now, and I don't know what the fuck's that's about. Perhaps I should just go to bed then if my server's down. How long have I been doing this? 12 and a half hours. Well, guys, I wanted to do another like couple of hours of Rust, but it appears that like that's not gonna happen. So I guess I'll log out. Maybe I'll go do some dagger combat on Mortal because I need money to buy books. So we'll go on Mortal Online too. You know, it occurred to me that I'd like to maybe take a look at Scum. Oh my god, it's big though. It's a really big game. Scum is a builder. It's not a very good builder. But it's not really the mob variety that I'm looking for in a game. Oh yeah, I bought the Phantom Pain. That's a good game. Glad I got that for the price that I got it. So I don't know. Dwarf Fortress is a builder, and I thought adventure mode might be what I was looking for. Like I could have a, but then I learned that there's no economy in it. There's no economy in Dwarf Fortress. There has to be all these things that I get when I want like a game that has an economy and a place that I can build and live in, and look out the window and see the sunset and stuff like that. And then also like but also had that 76 sort of or Diablo or PSO2 grind to it. And it doesn't really exist. There's areas in Mortal that has it, and I kept expecting them to thicken out the world with tons of mobs and stuff, but then they never did that for like 20 years. They never did put a bunch of mobs into Mortal because the fighting is a little too hard and takes too long. I think they need to improve the amount of enemies in the game, and I think they need to make the fighting not easier, but definitely the health bar is a little less bullet spongy. Gonna get on Mortal 2 here for a minute since Rust is down, and we'll just keep an eye on the thing here for fleets that pop and yeah, I kind of missed the ISOP today, but that's okay. I've been making so much money lately. It's okay to take a slow day and just gamble and stuff. I did a PvP opt on this session, as well as an ISOP. So I mean, like I missed the ISOP because I was too distracted by Rust. But so now I must send to my alt. Oh, I got some money. Oh look, there's some money. Look, Mithril Sheets sold. My stack of Mithril Sheets sold for 55k. Well then, let's just do that. Okay. But I mean, well yeah, like 55k isn't that good though. Like so it's 52k to buy the Mithril ingots and then another stack to get the fire. And so yeah, I made the money to buy more sheets. I'll get in and I'll work on dagger skill, I guess. I'll buy a book for dagger skill and I'll level that. If I can afford it. And I'll take my caster to the graveyard and I'll level her dagger skill. I mean, I should learn how to cast spells, but I don't really know how, and it's expensive. So you have to go out and like farm wood or something. And I want to do all that, but it requires so much focus that I don't want to. You are not logging. Try again. See, the game's kind of ghetto. Their UI is ghetto. It's annoying. But in here is a good game if they would just make more monsters, but I don't think they're going to, and that's the problem. I think it's a good game that they're not going to ever steer correctly to be a good game, you know? So there's some money from Mithril Sheets. I've got to send off the other Mithril Sheets. We see that there's, like, motivated buyers in the Mithril Sheet range. So let's go post these sheets at my own custom price and give it a couple of like hours, like give it while I sleep, and see if I can get the price that I want. If they see 5 stacks at a certain price, like 70k, I could make a really good income at 52k for a stack of ingots. And yeah, look, how much did I get there? It was 55k. That's not good enough. I need like 62 would be good. That's 10k per. Well, it's less than that. It's like 8k per for mithril ingots into mithril sheets. And it's not good enough. It would need to be like 64. I'm going to post my stacks to 64 and just let them sit there and see if somebody desperate buys them. Because right now, yeah, like right now, let's go look at mithril sheets, but I doubt there's many for sale. Yeah, 3 stacks for sale. You can see that people can get 60 if they try, which is actually not that bad, but I mean, it's still only like 6k profit for 2 stacks of synthing or something like that. It's not good enough. And so I want to put it on the market. There is some singles on the market now, but the singles are where I feel like I can really make a lot of waves. Let's see if I can see where the really good money would be 72 or 70. I would like 70, but they won't pay it. People can get 60, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. So yeah, and that extra 12k from selling singles. So mithril sheets singles are what the market is. I'm gonna have to send them. Yeah, it sucks, but did you get in? No, I told you to get in a long time ago. Let's go. Fucking annoying. You're annoying. Oh no, I'm going to get money. Yes. We're gonna send like 2 stacks to each alt. Okay, I'm in. Concentration increased to 100. Good. So the next book that I'm interested in is the Combat Librarian. I'm looking for daggers. Yeah, daggers for 10 silver. And I don't need to really... Yeah. Oops, I gotta take out concentration and focus 3. Nice, yeah. Okay, well, daggers, right? There we go. And so now we begin the very slow process of... Oh, good, I bought a dagger. I was, like, worried about that. I was like, yep, and then so cool. So now we begin the very slow process of gaining the money to... and she doesn't even have any armor or anything. I don't know. I should maybe go look at that. I should definitely get a chest piece, maybe. She maybe shouldn't wear armor because it'll level skills that she doesn't need. Oh, I'm going east. Oops. I went the wrong way. Okay, I'm gonna log to them and I'm gonna maybe I should dump all my time into silver. No, silver doesn't pay. Silver doesn't pay. None of them really pay. It's annoying. Whoa, black screen. I'm trying to... Okay, mithril sheets, gonna sell them all. I have fire crystals in case I need them. I suppose I will send like a stack of like 4. Oh no, am I in the water? Oh, I am, but swimming's okay if I have no armor on. Yeah. Probably actually good for you. Oh, that's my arrow, the blue bar? Okay. What? What? I blocked. I bought the magic schools, but you can't use it, so I'm just gonna delete it. Oh, there's people here.
Let me show you. Welcome back anytime.
Mortal's playing better with the DLSS. Is it DLSS? TSR. Let's try DLSS. Ultra quality. Medium. Let's see how it feels. I don't know. The TSR seems to be running better.
I have what you're looking for. Please, come again.
I came back here because I want armor. And what was it? Something else. Oh yeah, I want a cauldron. Yeah, I talked to the cooking tutor, right? Yeah, teach me about cooking and all that. Teach me about cooking tools, advanced good things, and you learn baking stuff. Okay, good.
Let me show you.
So a cooking pot with water. But I mean, carrying water is kind of hard. Isn't there a well or something around here? I can't remember. But yeah, I want that. I want that. And then yeah, and I want to sell the weapon sinew or whatever, the bone tissue, whatever. Yeah. Take the 12 silver for that. And we'll take the 60 silver and buy armor. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, yeah, what's the... Yeah, like, give me the best armor that you have. What is that? It's like the full grain quality stuff. Yeah, that's the quality leather tendremic. Oh, no, it's that. It's that one. So... We'll just keep stacking. Well, wait, I have emulge. Yeah, yeah, take that. It's a start. We'll go back to the graveyard now. I'm enjoying this. It's good. It's good pacing and stuff. I'm even like it even kind of fits the pacing of the other games. I really wish you could, like, I don't know. I wish Mortal played better with others. But I mean, it seems like it's running okay with DLSS now. I don't know. It seems like it's alright. The post-processing it's like blurry without it. Yeah, I want the post-processing turned up because it's too blurry without it. Usually there's like chicken or pig around. I think the chicken, or sorry, yeah, the pigs are way out east past the graveyard. I like the blood on the blade. I like how fast she runs. If I had a spell, I could probably kill that Springbok. So I think adding water to the recipe upgrades cooking skill faster. So I'm gonna pull water. But I gotta watch my weight. Yeah, that's probably enough. Like right there, yeah, that's probably good. Stop. Yeah, that's probably good. It's funny because you could jump in the water, and the water that I'm carrying would weigh so much that you would have to drop the water into the water or you would drown, and the water that you're carrying would weigh too much and it would weigh you down and you would die. That's a weird RPG thing that wouldn't really work in real life. The water would just, you know, escape pretty much. I think it would either escape or whatever you were carrying the water in would float away or whatever. But I don't know. It's kind of weird. But like in RPGs, you just drown because the weight of the water is too much to be in water, which is sort of weird. So I can cook water, I guess. Intelligence increased to 64. I don't know. Abominable water concoction. That's funny. Well, okay. So what about bone tissue emulsion water? No. Endoskeleton lore. You know, I think the UI is a little small. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Oh no, 115 is about where it gets where you can't get it off screen anymore. Okay, whatever. Vile fried bone tissue, gross.
I have what you're looking for.
But it's good skill up, so...
Deal. Only the best. Nice talking to you.
Now I have a goal, which is good because I can like train for weeks or sorry for days if I want to.
You've been examined.
Oops.
See what I have for you. Only the best for you. Thank you. Nice talking to you.
6 times 24 is, yeah, that's 150. So each alt has about 150k worth. And I sold stacks, but I mean, stacks, selling stacks was okay. I could just convert it all to mithril ingots and then turn it to sheets again and just sell singles if they'll sell. Like, I don't know if they'll sell, but we'll see. I'm just going to walk her that direction and see how far I can get.
Let me show you. Only the best for you. Please come again. See what I have for you. Deal. Nice talking to you.
Oh no, I went way too far. Oh.
see what I have for you. Thank you. Deal. Only the best for you. Welcome back anytime.
Oh no. No, no. Wait, what? Oh no, no, no. You scared me for a second. I was like, okay. I fucked up. Oops. I was like, wait, what? No, 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 no. I was like, no, no, it's gone. I was like, no way is it gone. No way is it gone. Doesn't seem like it's slowing down my movement very much. Go to YouTube and learn how to be a Mortal 2 caster. I'm just going to continue to farm money for books and stuff here. And I'll just train everything I can that this town has to offer before I leave. I guess, yeah, for like, I guess it's not that much that you need, but yeah, craft skills and stuff. But Mortal 2 caster guide. Mage guide. Mage guide.
So yeah, this is how I the different mage builds. So if you want to be a mage,
Medieval
there are lots of
Marty. I've
different
like
races you can
sub
be.
to your
But
channel.
there are two that I would really recommend, and they are humans and Alldayerrydaybaby. Humans right now are really popular because of two clades. The Cleric clade, which lets you wear more armor before suffering lower mana regeneration, which basically means the heavier your armor, the lower your mana comes back. As a human, you can wear heavier, tankier gear, and still be at around 70% mana regeneration. Then you've got Tactician, which reduces the damage you deal to allies, meaning you can do Necromancy or Elementalism into big groups of people, and you can deal full damage to the enemies and less damage to your allies. Plus, if you're new, it's less of a problem if you accidentally hit your own teammates. The other really good race is Shivra Alvarans. These get the Thaumaturge clade, which gives you a 50% chance not to use any regents, and then multiple clades which give you increased speed and gives you buffs to like get away from people faster. Okay, then onto the builds. When you're looking at what type of build to play, it's important to decide where you want to play. Are you going to be playing in big teams? Are you going to be in a guild of 20, 30 people going into big fights? Or are you going to be playing solo? Because that depends on the sort of mage you want to play. So let's go over some builds and the reasons for taking certain things. One thing to bear in mind is how intelligence works in this game. That the way to get more intelligent is to change your age and your weight. So if you're very old and very fat, you have huge intelligence. If you're skeletal, you have huge intelligence. However, if you want to go something in the middle, you want to be quite stout, you still want to have decent health, you still want to be able to use a weapon and use armor, you're only going to get around 100 intelligence. So that's something to bear in mind when we talk about the builds. Now, I can't go through every single build in full detail because this video would be an hour long. Giving full detailed breakdowns of every single build and how to build them out. But I have got a website fully with tons of really good meta builds on, which I'll link down below. And this is the site here. So depending on how you want to play, if you want to play as like a big fat mage, you can play like the Elementalist build. This is age 62, so you push the slider all the way, you go obese, and you have over 250 mana, you have over 130 intelligence. Here's all the clades you would take to build it out, and some tips on different things that work, like mounted magery or elementalism, and the different ways you can sort of play this big fat mage playstyle. Then we've got things like the Dex Mage, which is the opposite. It's a Shivra, it's very slim, it's very fast, it can get away and reposition really fast. It works really well with like Necromancy. It's very, very, very good for small scale, but it doesn't have as much power as like the Fat Mage in team fights. And then there's hybrid builds. We've got the Paladin and the Death Knight, so if we go on these keep everything more central, so you have like an age of 30, you stay stout, which is in the middle, so you don't have crazy high intelligence, you only have around 100, but then you don't suffer the negative, so you can still keep up with other footies, you can use heavy armor and a weapon, and you're very balanced in the middle. again, very good in endgame, very meta. You can use magic, you can use like surge for big AoE damage in fights, then you can pull a weapon and fight with your teammates. So there's a lot of different builds you can take as a mage, and I've got a lot of the meta ones on here. In this video, you're going to see footage I showed some in the intro of me playing, and I play this one. So the Bulging Shivra. Yeah, I personally really like the Shivra mages because you have the speed to get away and to reposition and keep yourself up and to get to those good positions. If you're, say, a necromancer, you can get out of an enemy's attack and then get back in with a death hand, trading really well. If you're playing as like an elementalist, you can jump onto things, you can get up high, and you can outrun footies and then elemental down to them into groups, or use your elementalism to like block out doors or to create distance. So yeah, this is how I like to play. It's very ratty, it's very fast, and it still has really good damage. Okay, so once you've made a mage, this is going to be aimed at pure beginners. We're going to do an introduction to the mage. As soon as you come out in Haven, talk to the magic tutor, and that will unlock your first school of magic. Just talk to him, press OK, and that will unlock the ecumenical school of magic in your skill. So you can now use the basic school of magic and healing, which is probably the most used and one of the most important. Now, here's all the different spells and all the different schools of magic you can learn, and we'll go through them in detail later. But all you want to do in Haven, or you can really do in Haven, is ecumenical. So that's the one we want to focus on. And the next thing to know is, before you can cast a spell after unlocking the School of Magic, you need two things. You need regents. Every spell in the game has a regent, which you need to go right next to him to the magic vendor, and this is where you get regents. And you also need a spell book. So you need a book which has the spells in it, which goes in your inventory. That's a permanent item that doesn't drop on death. And then you need regents, which are used, they're consumed to cast the basic school of magic and healing, which is probably the most used and one of the most important. Now, here's all the different spells and all the different schools of magic you can learn, and we'll go through them in detail later. But all you want to do in Haven, or you can really do in Haven, is ecumenical. So that's the one we want to focus on. And the next thing to know is, before you can cast a spell after unlocking the School of Magic, you need two things. You need regents. Every spell in the game has a regent, which you need to go right next to him to the magic vendor, and this is where you get regents. And you also need a spell book. So you need a book which has the spells in it, which goes in your inventory. That's a permanent item that doesn't drop on death. And then you need regents, which are used, they're consumed to cast the spells. So the first thing you want to work on is just making a bit of money in Haven. So, you know, pick some vegetables, go kill the zombies, and then you'll have enough money to buy the spellbook and some regents. So once you have that, head back to the magic vendor and purchase a magic spellbook. This will give you your basic spells, and then any additional spells you need to have scribed into it, which we'll also cover later on. So then if you press U or right click the spellbook, you can see the different schools of magic. So there's 4 here, and these are all the different spells that you can learn in the game. But you start with this basic set here, and you can see the regents required underneath are what you need to cast the spells. You can drag them onto your hotbar like this, and then say you have put Outburst on 1, you press 1 to cast the spell, you can press 1 to cast it again, or required under back to the magic vendor and purchase a magic spellbook. This will give you your basic spells, and then any additional spells you need to have scribed into it, which we'll also cover later on. So then if you press U or right click the spellbook, you can see the different schools of magic. So there's 4 here, and these are all the different spells that you can learn in the game. But you start with this basic set here, and you can see the regents required underneath are what you need to cast the spells. You can drag them onto your hotbar like this, and then say you have put Outburst on 1, you press 1 to cast the spell, you can press 1 to cast it again, or you can then use the hotkeys Q to recast the same spell, or E to cast that spell on yourself. So if you're healing, you want to be pressing E to cast it on yourself. So you activate the heal and then cast it on yourself. If you're damaging, you'd press 1 and then Q to shoot it at someone else. So yeah, then you just buy some regents to cast the spells. Don't ever buy water, because just on 1, you press 1 to cast the spell, you can press 1 to cast it again, or you can then use the hotkeys Q to recast the same spell, or E to cast that spell on yourself. So if you're healing, you want to be pressing E to cast it on yourself. So you activate the heal and then cast it on yourself. If you're damaging, you'd press 1 and then Q to shoot it at someone else. So yeah, then you just buy some regents to cast the spells. Don't ever buy water, because every town has a well, and you can just go over to the well and just gather water straight from the well. The other thing to be aware of is the skill range. So every single spell has a skill range, as you see here, the range like 17 to 20, 8 to 10, that sort of thing. And that is what ecumenical level you need need to cast that spell. So if your ecumenical is 29 or whatever it is when you unlock it,
I have
you
what
can't
you're
cast the
looking
spells
for.
that need 30 plus. So, but the
Only the
more you
best
cast the
for you.
spell within the range, the more you will
Thank
level
you,
your
please.
ecumenical
Come again.
spells. So if you have 29 ecumenical and you're casting a spell that's 25 to 35, you will level. And when you hit 35, you need to cast a new spell to keep leveling. That's kind of how it works. Okay, and then the only other thing to know is if you press L and look at your skills, you need to unlock a lot of skills as a mage. Whereas a footy just goes up to something and hits it with its sword, and then it levels its sword, you need to learn a lot of different skills to make yourself work as a mage. So you want to open your map with M in Haven and head up to the library, which is this building here at the very north of the town. And this is where you buy your skill books. And you need to, a lot of the mage abilities need to be unlocked by a book, and then you can level it normally yourself. So the things you want to focus on are, first, Vitalism. You want to get the Vitalism book. This is your mana regen. So this is the parent to mana regen. So you want to buy the book, unlock that, and then every time you cast a spell and every time your mana is regenerating, you will level up mana regeneration and regenerate mana faster. Then you want to level up mental training and the things underneath it. So inside mental training, we have mental focus, which reduces the mana cost of spells, and mental defense, which increases the damage we deal with spells. All of those two sections, Vitalism, the things under it, mental training, the things under it, should be 100 for any character using any sort of magic. Hybrid, Tamer, Fat Mage, Dex Mage, Shiva, all of those should be at 100. Concentration, everything in those two sections should be maxed. So what you can do is you can pop the book, so you can pop the Vitalism book, that will unlock mana regeneration, and then you can right click and take the book out, and then you can pop the mental training book in, and then you can start leveling mental training, and then you can take that book out, and then you can start putting the books in like that. Some have different requirements, so like to use mental focus, you need to have mental training at 50, I believe. So yeah, just get the books and then start leveling them. As soon as you've unlocked them, they will, as soon as you unlock the skill, it will unlock by doing. So that's something you should focus on before you do anything else as a mage. And don't worry about having to sit in the graveyard casting this on zombies. You can just cast on yourself. You can just stand there and outburst yourself, T-lash yourself, just cast spells on yourself and heal yourself. And then once you hit those new things, you can put those new books in and you can start leveling it all out. The higher level of the spell you use as well, you'll get more experience, I believe. So if you can level up your ecumenical spells and cast like thunder lashes on yourself, you're going to fumble them a bit as you're leveling it. But once you land that spell, cast it on yourself, you get a big jump in these stats. So don't just stand there spurting yourself. There's lots of better spells you can use to level up these core skills. But that should be your primary focus. Okay, once that's done, we can start learning the cool magic schools. And my personal favorite, the coolest one, is Elementalism. I love this school of magic. So let's talk about it. This is your big AoE, high fantasy, mage, sorcerer, spell school. So the way this works is you'll be throwing fireballs, you can change the weather, you can do these crazy big AoE spells that can like turn the tide of a siege. So yeah, Elementalism, crazy fun. Let's talk about unlocking it. And this is not the easiest, so to do this you have to go to one of three places. You have to go to the capital city of Tindrum, you have to go down south to the jungle camp, or you have to go east to Toxai. And the way this works is you trade in rare gems and crystals to these elemental trainers to unlock the different elemental spells and elements. Now, each of these three places you can learn the basics, and then each one has a specific element or a couple of specific elements that aren't in the other. So you kind of can travel to all three and do it in all three, or you can buy these different elements off the broker. People will go down to the jungle camp and buy one and then bring it up to Fabinum to sell, things like that. So you can buy them, or you can travel and get them. And what we have to do is we have to mine these geodes and these lodestones. They come from mining, or you can buy them off the broker. I just did tasks and bought them on this character. And then once you buy these lodestones and these geodes, you go over to the elemental traders. So I'll show this from the perspective of Tindrum because I play in the north. So from the entrance of Tindrum, you just turn left and go up this path, and you head straight down this road and into the back here. This little door here is like the elemental area. Now there's an elementalist person in here. You don't talk to them, you interact with the desk. And you can see here, there is a thing in the bottom of items the vendor wants. Now what you do here is you trade these items that are wanted for the skills and the scrolls that you need. So to start with, to unlock this, first you need to get the theory of elementalism notes, the first one. That unlocks elementalism as a whole. And then you can get elemental propulsion and elemental intensification. That's the two under it. That's what I would do as like the items that are here is like the, or you can buy them off the broker, I3, or you can buy these different elemental trainers to unlock the different So yeah, elementalism, crazy fun. Let's talk about unlocking it. And this is not the easiest. So to do this, you have to go to one of three places. You have to go to the capital city of Tindrum, you have to go down south to the jungle camp, or you have to go east to Toxai. And the way this works is you trade in rare gems and crystals to these elemental trainers to unlock the different elemental spells and elements. Now, each of these three places you can learn the basics, and then each one has a specific element or a couple of specific elements that aren't in the other. So you kind of can travel to all three and do it in all three, or you can buy these different elements off the broker. People will go down to the jungle camp and buy one and then bring it up to Fabinum to sell, things like that. So you can buy them, or you can travel and get them. And what we have to do is we have to mine these geodes and these lodestones. They come from mining, or you can buy them off the broker. I just did tasks and bought them on this character. And then once you buy these lodestones and these geodes, you go over to the elemental traders. So I'll show this from the perspective of Tindrum because I play in the north. So from the entrance of Tindrum, you just turn left and go up this path, and you head straight down this road and into the back here. This little door here is like the elemental area. Now there's an elementalist person in here. You don't talk to them, you interact with the desk. And you can see here, there is a thing in the bottom of items the vendor wants. Now what you do here is you trade these items that are wanted for the skills and the scrolls that you need. So to start with, to unlock this, first you need to get the theory of elementalism notes, the first one. That unlocks elementalism as a whole. And then you can get elemental propulsion and elemental intensification. That's the two under it. That's what I would do as like the first three you'd go for. You'd go for the theoretical elementalism, the fundamentals, and then the methods. That will unlock your basic elementalism abilities, so you can actually cast elemental skills. And then what you have to do is you have to trade geodes or items that they want for the value of the things you're buying. And you can see here, the books we just learned, you buy them and they will unlock elementalism as a skill. But then you also need to unlock the ability to cast elementalism from your spellbook, and that comes from the scrolls. So you can see here, there's all these different scrolls: elemental, propulsion, aggregation, fire, earth, heat. So here's how that works. So if you open your spellbook and go to elementalism, you see this big wheel. Now all the things on the outside are like the types of magic. So you've got propulsion, which is like small little darts. Aggregation is like big fireballs and lightning balls. There's weather magic in here. So you need the parent in here, the outer ring. And then you need the element itself. So once you click the parent, then you click the element at the bottom, and then you get an ability. So for example, if you click propulsion and then you pressed fire, you would get a little fire blast. If you pressed aggregation and then fire, you would get a big fireball. Same with wind. If you did it propulsion and wind, you'd get a little burst of wind. If you did aggregation and wind, you'd get like a tornado kind of thing. So that's kind of how this works. So you need to not only buy the skills for your skills to unlock, you need to buy the things to put into your book. And you need to have them scribed into your book as well. So you need to find someone who can scribe them into your book for you, or learn scribing yourself, which we'll cover in here, of how to put these into your book. And then once you've had it scribed, it works like ecumenical. You look at it in your spellbook and you buy the regents you need. So if you go like propulsion, you find something in your level range. So I just unlocked it here and I looked for a low level spell that I could cast, which was, you click the different elements of the elements you've got, and then you would drag this onto your hotbar. So you find that you align the spell, you put it on your hotbar, and then you can cast it. And it works just like any other spell. You just press the button on your bar, and then that will unlock your basic elementalism abilities, so you can actually cast elemental skills. And then what you have to do is you have to trade geodes or items that they want for the value of the things you're buying. And you can see here, the books we just learned, you buy them and they will unlock elementalism as a skill. But then you also need to unlock the ability to cast elementalism from your spellbook, and that comes from the scrolls. So you can see here, there's all these different scrolls: elemental, propulsion, aggregation, fire, earth, heat. So here's how that works. So if you open your spellbook and go to elementalism, you see this big wheel. Now all the things on the outside are like the types of magic. So you've got propulsion, which is like small little darts. Aggregation is like big fireballs and lightning balls. There's weather magic in here. So you need the parent in here, the outer ring. And then you need the element itself. So once you click the parent, then you click the element at the bottom, and then you get an ability. So for example, if you click propulsion and then you pressed fire, you would get a little fire blast. If you pressed aggregation and then fire, you would get a big fireball. Same with wind. If you did it propulsion and wind, you'd get a little burst of wind. If you did aggregation and wind, you'd get like a tornado kind of thing. So that's kind of how this works. So you need to not only buy the skills for your skills to unlock, you need to buy the things to put into your book. And you need to have them scribed into your book as well. So you need to find someone who can scribe them into your book for you, or learn scribing yourself, which we'll cover in here, of how to put these into your book. And then once you've had it scribed, it works like ecumenical. You look at it in your spellbook and you buy the regents you need. So if you go like propulsion, you find something in your level range. So I just unlocked it here and I looked for a low level spell that I could cast, which was, you click the different elements of the elements you've got, and then you would drag this onto your hotbar. So you find that you align the spell, you put it on your hotbar, and then you can cast it. And it works just like any other spell. You just press the button on your bar, and then you press Q to keep casting it. And then you'll start leveling up. You can see every single cast here, we're leveling elemental propulsion, 41, 42, 43, and then we can cast the more exciting spells. So elementalism doesn't start fancy. It doesn't start with these giant tornadoes and star showers. It starts very basic with very small spells. And the entry to these small spells is actually very cheap. I think like 4 geodes, maybe 5 geodes, will get you the basics of elementalism, propulsion, which you just saw using, and a couple of elements, which is enough to get you started. And then you can slowly work towards the other elements, the other schools of elementalism. Okay, let's talk about necromancy, the exciting school of necromancy. This one is all about raising walkers and controlling walkers, and then throwing, the walking dead at people. This literally lets you like one-shot, like solo bosses. It also has really powerful PvP spells like Death Hand, Atrophy. It's a really, really good school of magic that I'd say most mages should at least dip into. And it's much easier to unlock than, say, elementalism or spiritism. So to unlock this, you need to go to the vendor. So there's an occultist vendor in the very top of the map. So kind of if you're in Fabinum, you would kind of go east along the valley and then up past the Minotaur dungeon.
I think I have to set my keybinds back to defaults, and that's really terrible, I think. Whatever Q is, reset settings. So whatever Q is cast last spell, self-cast spell. And they want R to be interact, so interact has to be E. Toggle cursor mode is Alt. Push to talk is tilde. Take screenshot. Toggle criminal actions will be H. Cast last spell. No, I need that to be sprint. And walk, faint. Interrupt spells left control. Toggle auto run is mouse thumb 2. And cast last spell, self-cast spell. Self-cast spell. Oh, there's a push? I didn't even know that. So that'll be on F. I didn't know there was a push. Oh god, yeah, my sheath. Weapon will be T. Swap weapon set will be 2. Cast last spell. Self-cast spell will be left shift. The cast last spell will be thumb mouse buttons. Okay. So here we go. Ah, there we go. Oh, there we go. And cool, you can heal with that? Wow, it's fast. And then I say shift for me. So now I need more time training. daggers, and I've done well on my Mortal session. I did a lot of Mortal content, and a lot more than I expected to. And cool, and I'm enjoying my mage character, and I learned a bit. So I'll come back to this later, but I will log here. Yep. And this was a good guide. Yeah, it's cool. Yep.
A dick, and so I decided to be a little bit evil and shoot him in the face.
Go see if
not
the
only did it
server's
not
up.
hurt or kill him, but the bullet went through him altogether. It was as if there was no bullet at all. Same thing with melee attacks. Since I was even more pissed at this point, I ended up setting his house on fire and murdering his cows. And it just didn't need to go that far. And I blame Bethesda, but I understand. If I could kill this guy even when the quest ends for me, it would break the game for someone else who's trying to do the quest. But they could have at least added some kind of damage feedback, or the same thing they do with other Bethesda games where you just have somebody get knocked out. I think one of the most important components of any Fallout game is being able to make your own moral choices and becoming a savior of the wasteland or becoming part of it. I enjoyed Starfield, but its biggest flaw was that you basically needed permission from a quest or a faction to do everything, and it made it feel like the game was just on tracks. Whereas in Fallout 3, you could just go around shooting people dead in the middle of the street randomly, and you would get treated like a piece of shit for it. Because you were being a piece of shit. In Fallout 76, you follow instructions and paint by numbers. Once again, the immersion is shattered. The last thing that I want to bring up for negatives is that I think the perk system was a little overcomplicated and honestly just forced, because they really just wanted to be a live service game, and so they created this card pack system so that they could introduce new perks later and create a more random experience. But ultimately, to me, this was kind of annoying because I feel like there should be some skills that are earned through cards, but other skills that are integral to the gameplay loop, like, you know, lockpicking skills or hacking terminal skills, or even like modifying your weapons. I think those things should be confined to just a regular traditional skill tree, whereas some of the more eccentric skills like, you know, Mysterious Stranger or things that don't necessarily impact the game one way or another, those things should be something you can earn at random. So I thought that was kind of a miss, because it was just annoying that I couldn't unlock anything no matter how many points I put into perception. And with that live service kind of idea, they also were a little microtransaction happy, especially with the building and crafting. There were a lot of items that you just couldn't build unless you paid. And it was super annoying because some of the items behind paywalls were like actually helpful to your gameplay and were just basic quality of life things that kind of gave me the same icky taste in my mouth that the Dragon's Dogma 2 pay for fast travel mechanic did. One thing I will say in defense of this, though, is that they made it very easy to just press one button and it would hide everything that you can't build or craft, so that way you're not just always cluttered with a bunch of things behind a paywall. So I will admit that was really cool, but just the vast amount of items that were behind a paywall was kind of annoying. So for my final verdict, this game was an ambitious step in the right direction.
Oh,
and I
failed.
hope to see a more successful execution of the Bethesda formula with multiplayer. And with all the flaws that this game had, I still have to admit that the multiplayer was actually a lot of fun. So that said, would I play this game even for $0? Definitely not. But is this game worth playing with friends? Absolutely.
Even for
I actually had a ton of fun
$0?
once I actually started playing with my friends, once we started doing more events, exploring the higher level areas of the map, and of course doing the expedition missions. Because that classic Bethesda formula is really fun with someone else to experience it with. And it was almost fun enough to make me look past all of the complaints that I had. Now, I can't say for how long this would be fun, but I have to admit that playing with friends absolutely made this game so much more enjoyable. So, if you can look past everything I pointed out and want a decent Fallout experience with some of your friends, this is perfect for you. Personally, I feel like there are better options to play with your friends, but I also would definitely be down to play it again if one of my friends invited me. But if you're just looking for something to fill the void in your heart because they decided to make Starfield instead of Fallout 5, then this is probably not the answer. Don't just take my word for it though. There are plenty of people reviewing this game in its current state since the show dropped. And some of them, like BBK Dragon, had much nicer things to say about it. So, if you want to hear a more positive review of the game, I would definitely go check out his video that's linked in the description. Another one that's more in line with my opinion, but more informative, and he seems like a bigger Fallout fan in general, is from Aaron Bain from Push Square. That video is also linked in the description. But yeah, the point of this video was to provide as much information as possible on this game from the experience that I had with it, and hopefully either prevent you from wasting your money, or more importantly, your time, or to help you convince your friends to get it, so you don't end up having to play it alone.
I got it.
No, I got the collar over there. I got it. Oh, here, I freed the prisoners. I unlocked it.
I freed him.
If this video helped you in any way at all, or it was just enjoyable to watch, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and also go and check out my Twitch with the link in the description, and come tune in sometime. But that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks again for sticking around, and I will see you next time.
It was a good video.
Well, everyone, it happened. Todd, our Lord and Savior, has indeed spoken once more. He has spokeneth into the world the truth.
Thank you,
of
Luke Stevens, for the excellent
Almighty
concept
God
of a
Howard's
stream. I'd like to sub to your
teaching,
channel.
and as a result, I have prepared this seance for us to enjoy it. You see, he did an interview with the Kind of Funny Games cast, specifically Mr. Gregory Miller. And in this interview, he's asked a series of questions. Some of them are very, very good and pressing, like Todd's retirement. He's getting to be a bit of an old feller. When is he gonna pass the torch, and what's that gonna look like? Also questions about Starfield, the Shattered Space DLC, which has been kind of missing in action for a while. But all of that is sort of beside the point. The question that I found most intriguing was this one about collaboration with the Fallout franchise specifically. But before we get into all of that, of course, a thank you to the sponsor of this video, Opera GX. Thank you to Opera GX for sponsoring this video. This may come as a surprise to you guys, but I am on the internet a lot. As a result, I need a browser that works for my workflow, also that's intuitive, easy to use, and respects my privacy all at the same time. And on top of all of that, I love customization of things like this, and Opera GX has all of that. In fact, right now, Opera GX has actually partnered with CDPR for a Cyberpunk 2077 customized version of the browser, so you can add all sorts of specific mods to your version of your browser and fine-tune it exactly as you like. And with this Cyberpunk splash screen specifically, you can see you have things like a unique background when you go to open new tabs. And with these unique modifications to Opera GX, such as the Cyberpunk 2077 modification, you can really make your browser exactly what you want it to be. Even down to the live wallpaper, sounds as you drift over links on your homepage, or you can even enable the ambient music so as you browse, you feel as though you're living in the world of Cyberpunk. In addition, you can actually configure the wallpaper yourself. If you go to these settings, you can not only change the time of day if you want to either sync it to the real world time of day that you are experiencing, or if you prefer the look of one over the other, you can tweak it to your heart's content. Or if you still want to continue messing around with it, you can alter all of the different settings to make it precisely the version of the Cyberpunk world that you like. I don't know about you guys, but I love all those glare distortions, the intensity I can bring down a little bit, increase the vapor glow just a tad, and the overall vapor, and I can even change the shade of it to make it exactly how I like it. You can really customize your browser to be exactly what you want it to be. And Opera GX even has a quick import tool which makes swapping browsers easier than ever. You simply select the browser that you're currently using, select what you want to import, and it will bring it all over without you having to so much as think about it.
No,
So just like you can see
down.
here, if
That
you want the
sucks.
background music, you can turn it off, or you can leave it back on, but you can fully customize it to your heart's content. In addition, you've probably also noticed if you watch my Luke Stevens live channel where we do stream clips and everything, I use Opera GX every single day on stream, and it's because it works better than any other browser I've tried, which have all had problems with playing video or screen tearing when browsing web pages. All of those headaches I just don't want to deal with, and Opera just works. Check out Opera GX at the link in the video description box below or in the pinned comment, and head over to the gx.store in order to download the Cyberpunk mod or any other mods that you could possibly want. They've got ones for all sorts of different games, like this one for Fallout New Vegas if you want. I mean, this looks pretty cool too, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Again, check it out at the link in the video description box below or in the pinned comment. Okay, but with that said, let's get back into it. I have been going crazy since the Fallout show came out, looking for another Fallout fix, and it is so amazingly baffling that Xbox has nothing seemingly planned except for a Fallout 3 remaster, which was leaked previously, and other than that, like some Fallout 76 updates, but there really
lots
is
of
nothing
mythril sheets for sale
to take advantage of all of this hype and interest in the franchise. I mean, seriously, Fallout is bigger than it probably has ever been, and they have nothing to capitalize on it with, except for a game that's like 6 years old and that a lot of people still just don't click with, or a 9-year-old game that they just updated and broke. But Luke, they also have Fallout Shelter. They do technically have Fallout Shelter, a 9-year-old mobile game. You're right. How could I have forgotten? But here's the thing. While we give PlayStation plenty of crap for having like The Last of Us Part 2 remaster and The Last of Us Part 1 remake and all these other things slated for release right around the time that the show comes out, and I'm sure they're gonna have Ghost of Tsushima stuff when the movie comes out. They have all this stuff lined up so that they can sell you something or give you something to enjoy while you're interested because of some external multimedia event. So The Last of Us Season 1 comes out. Oh, cool. We've got The Last of Us Part 1 remake ready to go. And yes, I know it's a remake, but at least there was something. But Xbox really has not done much of anything to capitalize on the success of the show, like at all. And I think there's a couple of possible reasons for it, most likely of which being that they didn't expect people to like the Fallout show as much as they have. I think they were kind of braced for it to be another Halo show. And so when it ended up being wildly popular, they were like, oh, right, yeah, you guys like this, cool, great. You don't have anything planned, but I'm glad you like it. But that brings me back to this interview and this question that was asked of our almighty God Howard, and that is whether they're open to collaboration, because at this point, Fallout 5 is likely to come out around 2034. That will put it, assuming there's no delays or anything, roughly 19 years after the release of Fallout 4. A delay happens, it's 20 years. To put that in perspective, if Fallout 5 launched today, that would mean equivalent timeframes, Fallout 4 would have launched in 2004. When Bush was president. There is so much time in between these releases at this point, because BGS can only do so much, that it's baffling they would just sit on the franchise for that long, especially with the hype and interest in Fallout as a franchise that the show has helped to kind of gin up. So now people are wondering if BGS and Xbox specifically, I guess, are open to sharing the franchise with somebody else. And that's where this question comes in. I'm gonna let it play out in its entirety. Shout out to Greg for asking the good question, because I don't want to cut anything off, and I want you to just hear it, and then I'm gonna pick it apart and tell you what I make of it.
Again, with Fallout now having, I would say, even more success, being even bigger than it's ever been, thanks to this show, do you sit there and think more about that co-development, external development, let people go, not make Fallout 5, but make Fallout : whatever, more stuff like the mobile game, more stuff like in New Vegas?
I would say we've always had those conversations. We did a lot of things for the show. It might seem like, hey, there isn't a big new game out, but we added content into 76 for the show. 76 has a really great map expansion that's coming this summer with Skyline Valley. And so we look at what we're doing with the franchise, and then we say, do we still feel good about, I can't reveal it now, but here's our runway for the Fallout.
Yeah, you can do
as
it.
A franchise.
You can reveal it now, it's fine.
And it's season 2 happening. What are we doing on mobile? What are we doing in 76? What are we doing with this thing? What are we doing with this other thing? and when are these landing? And again, if I could snap my fingers and have them all be out and ready, I would. But the main thing is, like, all right, how do we deliver these at a high quality level? That's always most important.
I have some thoughts. First things first, of course, Todd mentions that they actually did add a lot of stuff for the Fallout show in anticipation of the excitement that it would certainly garner. And listen, I have tried Fallout 76 many, many times, and it's just not for me, and I will be honest about that. I'm not going to pretend like it's bad just because I personally don't like it, right? That's not necessarily a given, that just because I don't personally like the game or get dopamine from it doesn't mean that it's full stop bad as it currently is. At launch, it certainly was bad, but currently I think it's much better, certainly. But even then, among the people that have been playing it since launch and are hardcore fans of Fallout 76, there are still many problems with it, and the updates that have come from BGS, Austin specifically, have been pretty anemic and not very high in quality. Over on Luke Stevens Live, we actually checked out this review from Mr. Matty, the one and only, who a month ago, before the crazy hype of the Fallout show, he reviewed the latest update to Fallout 76, which was particularly wanting. The review is really well done, and the fact that he played an entire expansion in Fallout 76 just for a video, I think deserves a lot of credit, because not many people would do that. And basically the takeaway from the video is that the game is just fine. Like, they're never gonna put their best content forward. They're never gonna blow anybody away with it. It's always gonna do just enough to keep the player base satisfied and never more than that. And I think that that is an astute observation of the current state of the game that I've heard echoed from many, many fans of Fallout 76. But I think all of this is to say that for Todd to be like, well, we have added a lot of stuff to the Fallout franchise for the show to keep fans happy. Look at what we did for Fallout 76. Well, like, what you've done for Fallout 76 is kind of mediocre, and that's assuming all Fallout fans like Fallout 76, which is not a given. Many Fallout fans find Fallout 76 to be extremely wanting. But beyond that, Todd mentioned they've done stuff with Fallout on mobile, which of course refers to Fallout Shelter, which is fine. And then he refers to two other things when he says,
Season 2 happening. What are we doing on mobile? What are we doing in 76? What are we doing with this thing? What are we doing with this other thing?
What are we doing with this thing and this other thing? When does that line up with season 2? Blah, blah, blah. One of those things he's referring to almost certainly is the Fallout 3 remaster. That was leaked as part of the FTC hearings. It hasn't officially been revealed or anything, but it's out there. People know about it. It's happening. It's a thing. I know some people are really hopeful for that, but it's a remaster as far as we understand it, not a remake. All of the technical restrictions that plagued Fallout 3 at launch and to this day, they might be polished up a little bit, but it's still going to be Fallout 3. We're not talking about a remake. You're still going to have to do the constant load screens between every single little zone as you travel through. Just understand, we're not talking about a remake. And honestly, as long as expectations are clear, I'm fine with that, as long as it's not like $50 or something. Yeah, remasters are fine. I personally am not that confident in their ability to put forward quality content, which is the other thing that he mentions when he says,
if I could snap my fingers and have them all be out and ready, I would. But the main thing is, like, all right, how do we deliver these at a high quality level? That's always most important.
That's always most important. I'm sorry, Todd. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna bring it up, okay? For Todd Howard to mention quality always being the most important thing is freaking hilarious. You can say a lot of things about Bethesda Game Studios titles, like that they're fun, they're addicting, they're junk food games, it's like eating popcorn, you keep popping it in and it's delicious and satiating something deep within you, but there's no nutritional value at all, but you're still okay with it. You could say lots about Fallout stuff and Skyrim and Elder Scrolls, all of that, but they have always, as long as anybody can remember, struggled with putting forward the most high quality product when graded against its competition. They've always struggled with polish, they've always struggled with bugs, they've always struggled with keeping things technologically
this is that
in line
thing
with their competition.
that I was talking about. They're like a quadruple. I'm sorry, they're like a quadruple A publisher. They're triple anus in the eyes of the community, and as a publisher, and they're a double A developer, and they never knew how to make games that well. They always diss the modders. They always break their games all the time. They're stressed out. They always overhype. They always try and say 15 times bigger or whatever, and try to oversell when they could just let the games sell themselves. But there were these rabid fans that are just waiting for it. And they release these games, and their clients are woefully bad. Like, now you might think I'm bitter or whatever, or I'm just some fat malding old man, but I mean, when I was like, I don't know, 17 years old, something like that, yeah, about 16, 17, just to get a copy of Morrowind that would even run, you had to essentially get an Xbox, because the PC was basically unplayable. And this was true of all of their titles, always. This is how Daggerfall was. This was how Morrowind was. This is how Oblivion. Okay, when Oblivion came around, I used to use something called Old Oblivion that would literally like mod the INI file till it was down to potato mode, but you could still like play the game, you know. And like that's how Oblivion was, and that was a famous mod. That was a famous app. Most of the world could play that game because of Oblivion. Most of the world could not play Oblivion. They didn't have a system that would. I mean, you could buy later on. It hit the Xbox 360, and that's when the whole world got their hands on it. But I mean, like, it had been out for 4 years before that, something like that. And then understand, like, as long as they've been doing this, they've been at this, and this is why I say I can do Bethesda better than Bethesda, and that these clients are shitty, and just now they're finally doing next-gen stuff, and I'm just now discovering clients that I wish had been around when I was a kid, like this Borderless program that would have helped me run ever since I started playing WoW, which was like in 2004 or something like that. I've always had 2 monitors, and I'm always running like windowed and full screen and all this. And so, I wish there had been like a translation program back then, like there have been now, you know. Let's see what else he has to say.
Their games were just frankly fun enough that it didn't really matter. It was okay because at least Skyrim's fun enough that you can look past all the bugs and stuff. Or Fallout 3 is quirky enough that you can look past the fact that it has
I think it is.
really, really bad gunplay compared
Yeah,
to
it's
contemporaries
really
of the time.
bad.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
people just don't tolerate that. For a AAA studio to be struggling to get games to launch consistently is baffling.
Yep.
For them to come out with like the Fallout 4 Next Gen update and have ultra-wide monitor support be one of the main selling points, and then completely break ultra-wide monitor support in that update.
Yeah, just break it. Like, just probably break it. Yeah, I don't mess with ultra wide because I know I would have bought ultra wide. I had the money. I had the money when I bought this television. I spent 700 and I think it was like 50 on this or something. I think it was all in all with the insurance and everything. Well, I mean, we have an insurance company, but yeah, I mean, with all the shipping and everything that it costs, and the bracket was like $400 too. It was like $1,000 for this TV and the bracket, and it's big. I don't know if you guys recall. It's been a while since I've spun it and shown anybody, but I mean, like, this is a big fucking television. You can see it, you know. It's a big television. It takes up a huge size of the room, you know, and what was I gonna say? I looked into ultra wide, and I was like, what something else I could do I was like, well, I can go about 40 inches smaller and put a 60-inch television in front of me that's running like TV all day. And I could just I could put one headphone that's television and one headphone that's computer, and just do my stream and have television running in the background all day, so I could watch the news and watch what was happening. But then I realized that the people wouldn't understand what I was doing and what I was seeing and what I was watching. So I decided just to include everybody and just go full screen. Go bordered all the time, bordered full screen all the time. It's just like and for a long time, both Streamlabs and OBS would not let me do it, and it still won't. Half the time OBS still won't let me do it. And so I have to play with all kinds of settings. I have to use like programs that help me sync the monitor and all this, and it's so dumb. And that to me now is like what equalizes the next gen. The next gen to me is not some new console. It's running all of everything from the last like two gens in bordered full screen, borderless, windowed, whatever you want, in any way or form, flip backwards, whatever, with 2 or 3 or 5 monitors or 10 monitors. I don't care. All of that stuff needs to run well. To me, the next gen is having this big 120-inch monitor, or I would say it's like a 100-inch monitor. The 2K monitor over here, the 1440p 100-inch monitor here that's in 120 hertz, 60 hertz monitor here, 4K 120 hertz bedroom television, because my bedroom TV died. And yeah, and so and that's where we're at now. I'm like, I'm happy with the tech, and I don't need a new video card necessarily. I want the old video card to run so well, and it technically is. The hardware is running great. I don't really have an issue with any of the hardware. Like these TVs that I bought in 2020, both broke. One was broken just by the company when it was being mailed. The other one was probably damaged when it was mailed, because the other one died when it was mailed. And the one that got here only lasted about 1.5 years or something before it just kicked the bucket and black screen and died. And so then I bought a new bedroom television, a new living screen television. I've got an old 2K monitor that I just use to monitor the stream for OBS, and that's it. And the 100-inch monitor has been a journey. It was a journey. I thought it was like plug and play, like hook up the computer and be done with it like any normal television would be. But no, 100-inch television is like this whole different vibe, and it looks good. It looks good. It looks so good. All the time I just bask in the monitor, because I've never had anything like this. I feel like Batman in the first Batman movie, when Michael Keaton's sitting in the Batcave and he's got like 6 monitors going, and one's big, and it's bringing him the news of the outside world. I feel like fucking Batman. I actually really do. I've got this 100-inch telecommunications screen, and if I wanted to torture her, I could call up my mother or one of my friends or whatever, and I could and I could be like, all right, you're going on the big screen, and just put them on the big screen, and I literally would be in Back to the Future, and I could pipe my boss into my screen if I had a boss. But no, I can pop my boss into my screen. I do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? I do it all the time. Here's me piping my own screen into oh, my monitor's shut off, and that's kind of weird. Why did my tablet monitor shut off? That's annoying. That's annoying. It was running fine earlier, and now it just like reset or something dumb. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, and like there we go, and so there's my boss on the screen. I can put my boss on the screen. I don't know if I can make it. I can make the face big, but I don't want to right now. Or well, I can go like blah blah, deactivate, activate, and there's my boss on the screen. There's my boss on the screen, and he's showing up in big fucking, in big in real time, and on my television screen. That is the size of like a 60-inch television. Like a 60-inch television with my face just popped on the screen in front of me. It is such a fucking dope-ass fucking like vibe that I want in my entire fucking life. I'm like losing weight because I want to see my pretty skinny face on the screen and all this. I'm just, I'm trying to like be there, and like and I'm loving it. like the tech and the hardware are exactly where I want it to be. Now I want the software. The next gen for the software, in my opinion, isn't some new console or something. It's making all these other games run well. You know, I recall buying Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid, and returning it because it wouldn't run. But now I've got the translation program that'll run it on the 100-inch television screen. And Metal Gear Solid was a great game, especially probably if you turn the voices off. But I don't know. The voices are good though. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, so we did everything I was supposed to do here. I logged to this one just to see. I'm logging back over. I'm not making any money on Mithril, so I should technically save my money for when I need to spend it and go back to killing things because it made me more money faster. One wonders where I can get earth crystals fairly reliably, and it's like, what, I guess it is the desert. Most of the time, the desert is kind of like earth weather. I could do copper. I could always do copper. I could pop in and do copper pretty much like every day. And I believe I will. I will sit at the vendor here and wait for 8 o'clock. And I will do the copper run. I don't know why, but the damn zombie server went down for like 5 fucking hours or something dumb. And I don't know why. You know, guys, it is 14 hours right here, almost to the minute. It's 14 hours and 2 minutes. And I would love to just stay up all night on a Monday, but I don't really have that kind of reality anymore. And so, yep, and it's already getting sort of like later on into the day. It's like 7 in the morning, so I believe I'm going to stop here. And I love you guys, and thank you so much for your time. My Rust server's down, and so I'm just going to call it and go to bed. Thank you for watching me build like 5 bases today. Thank you for watching me smash a POS on EVE Online in HiSec. Bash a Paws, and thank you so much for hanging out with me while I played FFXI and EVE Online and Rust all day, and I plan to do the same thing tonight. It's 7 in the morning, I'm going to bed. I'll be back up tonight probably about 5, 7 in the night, something like that. Thank you so much for your time. Just a reminder, you've been watching Skycat Live. And I am a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. And also, just a reminder, all of my videos all of my sessions are recorded and placed on my YouTube channel. And I'm getting good, solid viewership every day. It's starting to get up. Like, there's 22, doing pretty good, you know what I'm saying? And so, every day I post a 4-hour video, and I'm pretty consistent. And so this session that was 14 hours and 5 minutes long, for the stream it was 14 and a half hours. This session will be placed on my YouTube, and you can catch me anytime. You can tune into me and just watch me and listen to my voice and watch me do stuff. And I love you guys, and you can just spin me up, and I'll be your Mr. Rogers all the rest of your life, baby. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the follows, the supports, and the likes, subs, and everything. Come to Twitch. Give me a follow. I am an affiliate of Twitch. Give me a Twitch follow. Glorbus gave me a nice follow a couple days ago. And all this. And yeah, we had a couple of other people over the last couple of weeks and stuff. And so I want to say thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it so much. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you tonight. Take care. Love you. Bye.